Crown Vic, Grand Marquis, and Lincoln Town car guys. I'm on all y'all ass. I think we could all agree the Mopar guys are no longer the biggest threat to humanity. I'm talking about these things are nastier than a racist white woman at a party full of black men with sweatpants on. You see, from factory, these Crown Victorias they were nothing but workhorses. They were meant to get you from A to B and be durable doing it the whole time, right? You fast forward 11 to like 12 years later after production ends, you know, these Panther platforms, and you got guys putting TR3650 manual swaps in this thing, long tube headers, Pro Charger systems from 80tr.net, and these things make anywhere from 400 to about 600 horsepower in a sedan that was never meant to crack 150 miles an hour. Do y'all understand how crazy that is? They are walking scats with these things. Scats, Mustangs, dragging ass. Oh, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that's some scary shit. They even have Panther Mafia. Do you know what that is? That's an entire cult. It's hundreds of them. There are thousands of them. Lovers of the Crown Victoria. So you a middle-aged man or an old head that want to hang with the new guys and all they Camaro SS 6th gens and 5th gens, these S550 Mustangs and shit like that. Don't worry, I got you, bro. I got you. First things first, you're going to find a 1983 four-door Malibu. Why? Because nobody's going to suspect this thing to be nastier than Betty White with her OnlyFans. Then you're going to find a 454 big block. Then you're going to take that 454. Either you're going to leave those internals alone and just forge them, or you're going to build a stroker. You're going to do a 468 stroker, you can do a 489, or the infamous 496. The next thing you're going to do is look for either a TH400 or a Power Glide transmission and a 4.9-inch rear end. And as far as your power adder, I highly suggest you go with a turbo. Yes, it will include routing piping throughout your engine bay into an intercooler, you know, going to buy a wastegate and blow-off valve and shit like that, but it's worth it because these turbos are driven by exhaust gases, meaning they are not hard on your engine internals. The only thing you'd have to worry about is your tuner turning your engine into a bomb. So, the Ford Ranchero versus the El Camino. Let's dive into it. Alright, I'm going to try to make a long story short, right? So, in 1957, Ford released the Ford Ranchero. Now, the idea of the El Camino didn't come to 2 years later, meaning the idea for the truck car, as the kids call it, or the car from the ATL movie, yeah. That all started with Ford, but what Chevrolet did was the same thing that black families do to all their food. They add extra seasoning to it. I don't even know how this is a competition. When Chevrolet started doing their own version of the Ranchero, aka the El Camino, they were throwing sauce at this. So the whole idea of this platform was to create a coupe pickup, something that was sporty but practical-ish. Like, I kid you not, the only engine options the Ranchero even had was the 250 inline sixes, the 289s, the 302s, the FE base 390 big blocks. What else they had? They had the 428 Cobra jets, but Chevrolet had so many the 427 big block, 327 small block Chevy, the 350, what else? 305, 454s, especially the high power version from the Corvette. Dude, like, the list goes on. These things were absolutely nuts. You will see El Caminos with full electric conversions, 632 big blocks with 1071 wine blowers on them. You're not going to see any Ford Ranchero GTs or any Ranchero at a car show. You're not. You will not see a Ranchero at a car show. The El Caminos win this by default. Like, power, popularity, like, bro, even the looks department. So, that's just what it is. Now, I ain't even got nothing bad to say about these guys. All I need to say is, listen, 396 big block guys. Y'all have been rebuilt these engines years ago. They just sitting in your yard or your garage or by your house because you have nothing to throw it in. You might have something to throw it in, but you be too busy with work. So let me tell you something. Y'all so greedy. Like, come on, man. You gonna have to pass these gens on. Stop gatekeeping and hogging all these engines. Y'all mean as fuck. Come on. I bet you $9, 2 packs of Newport Longs, and a bottle of moonshine that somebody's uncle or daddy or granddaddy getting ready to throw this in either a Chevy Vega, a Nova, a 1970 Chevelle, or a 4-door Impala. By now, everybody should know what the Impala SS is. This thing was the iPhone Plus of B-bodies in the 90s, right? So this thing had four-wheel disc brakes all the way around, and it had a better suspension than the Roadmaster, the Fleetwood, and the Caprices. And it made 260 horsepower from the infamous LT1, but this thing was not without its issues. Ta-da! What GM decided to do was utilize the OptiSpark system for their second generation of small block Chevy 350 that you all know as the LT1, which utilizes reverse flow heads, but that's besides the point. The OptiSpark made people sell their car because once they figured out they had to remove the accessory drive system and the water pump just to change the electronic distributor, this thing had let me tell y'all something. This thing had the ability to make your car feel like your computer is going bad, your alternator is going bad, or you have a bad battery or it just don't matter. This thing, it was so confusing to pinpoint the issues, but I'm gonna help y'all out. First things first, you need an OptiSpark delete kit. Now, you can go get the LTCC version or you can go get the Torque Head OptiSpark delete kit. They give you the wiring, an entirely different PCM, everything you need to run LS coil packs on your old LT157. And you will no longer need to use the OptiSpark system. That'll be gone for good. Want a whole lot more power? Go with an LT1 383 stroker kit. Some AFR heads, some ARP head studs, and a cam kit for the LT1. You'll have to mix and match what other parts you want to add to the list that I just mentioned. And, you'll have a badass 450, close to 500 horsepower monster. But we have the ultimate question. Which one of these badass muscle sedans are going to take home the crown in this video, right? So let's go over it, right? So basically, the Mercury Marauder was a parts-being vehicle that utilizes a Mustang Mach 1 4.64 valve, right? And it had four-wheel disc brakes, good suspension. The interior came from a Crown Victoria Sport. So did the center console and shit like that. The center. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Paul McCarthy will be buying pussy off the Las Vegas Strip before I buy an Infiniti G35. I hate these goddamn cars. Why the fuck am I ducking every time I see these goddamn cars, you ask? Well, I'll tell you why. Because for some reason, these things are synonymous with drive-bys. They be the first motherfuckers to get road rage, but all your motherfucking body panels and bumpers missing. Bitch, that's a bumper car at that point. I'm talking about, man, you go on Facebook Marketplace, you'll find these things from like $25 to $4,000 with a fart can exhaust or oil leak. And this bitch sound like a goddamn high school band going up the street. Boy, you got a trombone on wheels. And then, more than likely, if a female drove this, she got the eyelashes on it. She got the pink fluffy steering wheel. Oh, and don't forget donuts on 2 tires. Maybe 3. Well, 1 good tire from Walmart. If she drive one of these, her ex-boyfriend in the picture. If he drive one of these, that nigga a felon. The 2008 to 2009 Impala SS came with a LS4, which is a transversely mounted 5.3 LS, with a transmission that seemed like it's made out of glass, ribbons, and strawberry shortcake. The Buick LaCrosse Super, the Pontiac Grand Prix GXP came with this engine also, and so did the Monte Carlo SS. So without further ado, here's how you make an LS4 nastier than an early 2000s porn video hiding under your mom's mattress. And possibly haul more ass than a pastor's wife selling coochie on Christian Mingle. First things first, get rid of them rods and pistons. You can get away with the stock crankshaft, but you're going to need this drop-in rod and piston kit, MLS head gasket, a TXP Chop Monster cam kit. You will need a bigger stall converter too, just so you know. The heads are pretty good, just port them. You don't really need to do anything extra to the heads. And as far as your intake manifold, you can use this right here. An Edelbrock Pro Flow manifold. Now, for you to be trying to add boost to a built LS4, you need to have the transmission to hold up to this. So you need an early 2000s Cadillac DeVille 4T80E transmission. These are the only transmissions proven to handle 8 to about 1,000 horsepower. And for boost, just stick a big ass turbo on it and you good, along with some ARP head studs, a high pressure milling oil pump, and a few other things. But yeah, you get the gist. You know what would be awesome though? You throw this entire combination inside like a Pontiac Fiero.